Hey everyone, it's Heather of Juneve Yoga, and today's video will be a basic foundational sequence. You can use it as a standalone practice, or you can use it as a warm-up for a continuing practice. So let's get started. Start out on hands and knees. Check out your hands. Make sure they are just a tiny bit in front of your shoulders, and your knees are a tiny bit behind your hips. Curl your toes under. Root down into your hands. So root down into your index fingers and your thumbs. Sorry, I gotta clear my throat. So the base of your index finger knuckle and the base of your thumb. And then press everything else down in your hands and do the action of hugging your forearms towards each other. Now we'll begin at the top of the spine, the part of your back that's in between your shoulder blades, which is your thoracic spine. So as you press down into your hands and lengthen your arms, sink the top of your spine down towards your heart, towards the floor. Bring your shoulder blades together. Then bring your shoulder blades apart, round the upper back, and press your spine up. So that's the action. If you imagine your shoulder blades like elevator doors, and your spine is coming in and out of those elevator doors. All right, just a slight rounding of the upper back and move in and out here. Really just warming up the thoracic spine and that area around your rotator cuff, upper back. Now we'll invite the rest of the back in. So come to a neutral spine. And many of you have probably heard this cat-cow. So let's do cat-cow in a precise way. So draw your belly up towards your spine, scoop your tailbone in, root down into your hands and arch your entire back up towards the ceiling. Exhale. And now drop your spine down, tailbone up on your inhale. Exhale, do the cat version of the pose. You know, your spine arching up, tailbone scoops in, belly draws up towards your spine. Inhale, tailbone up, top of your head up, spine sinks down. Let's just do that a few more times, a few more breaths. Be sure to check in with your hands. Make sure you are pressing down through the floor. And come back to a neutral spine, a neutral tabletop. Big toes together, knees to the outer edge of the mat. Child's pose, hips back to your heels, lengthen your sides. So we don't want to just flop down into child's pose. We want to keep it active. So press your hands into the floor, lift your forearms up, roll your outer shoulders down towards the floor. If your head touches the floor, go for it. If not, you can put some support underneath your forehead or just look towards the front of the room. We're not going to be here too long. Let that low back lengthen, that low back spread out. And now come back up to our first down dog. So bring your knees back, tiny bit behind your hips. Root down into your hands. Lift your knees and pause, right? Pause as you press into your hands, roll your shoulder blades towards the outer edge of the mat, and bring your chest towards your thighs, right? So push away. Push through your hands, lengthen your arms, lengthen your sides. Now, everyone, press your thigh bones back. Press your thigh bones back. Lift your thigh muscles, your quadriceps. Press your thigh bones back and sink your heels towards the floor. Right? Tailbone up towards the ceiling. Draw your ribs up towards your spine and lengthen. Have your ears in between your upper arms. And don't forget to breathe. Okay, now bring your attention to your hands. Come forward to plank pose. Right? Draw your belly up towards your spine, scoop your tailbone in. You may bring your knees down here for a variation too, right? Tailbone scoops in, broaden your back towards the ceiling, look to the front of the room, and slowly, like somebody's pulling the outer edges of your hips back, press back. Press your thigh bones back. Think of your femur bones bursting through your hamstrings. I know, a little bit of a gory scene, but think of it. That's the engagement, not just jamming the knees back, right? It's a little different. Now bring your feet a little bit closer to each other. Lift your right leg, extend the back of your left leg towards the floor. Don't worry about your heels touching the floor. Don't adjust your down dog if your heels don't touch the floor. And bring your right foot forward in between your hands. You're going to see me from the back, and that's okay. Pivot your back foot, front heel bisects your back arch, and come up, hands on your hips. Front knee at a 90-degree angle, front hip a 90-degree angle. Check out your front knee, make sure you can see your first two toes, and then face your navel in between the legs. You're seeing me from the back, I am very aware of that. Stretch the arms, okay? Now, everyone, palms up towards the ceiling, roll your shoulder blades back and down, stretch your arms out, check out your front knee, make sure your knee is not coming inward. Sit down into your pose, press into the outer edge of your back foot, warrior two. I was just Peter Brady there for a minute, okay, with my cracking voice. Don't forget to breathe, I'm right here with you, I know how long we're here. Now, check out your front foot, press into the outer edge of that back foot for Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose, right? So straighten your front knee, lift your thigh bone, front thigh slightly rolls out, back thigh rolls in, stretch the arms. Upper body right over the pelvis. Use your back foot to launch, right? Launch, press out, press forward like somebody's handing you something, and bring your hand to your ankle, to the floor, or to a block, okay? Front hip, right hip presses in, inner thigh of your left leg presses back, bring your chest forward, right ribs forward, right? One thing to just be mindful of, trying to touch the floor and the butt comes out. That's not the pose, okay? So if that happens, raise the floor so you can get longer. We want to get longer in the sides. Front hip forward. I know how long we're here. All right, everybody, press into the outer edge of your back foot. Come up. Bend your front knee, warrior two. Virabhadrasana 2, upper body right over the pelvis. Both hands down, back to down dog or child's pose. Sink your heels down if you're in down dog. Outer shoulder blades aim towards the floor, draw your belly in. Don't forget to breathe, everybody. Now you may stay here if you have a vinyasa practice. Come forward to plank, look to the front of the room, bend your elbows, shoulder blades down to cobra, curl your toes under, back to down dog. Don't forget to breathe. Now, if you don't feel like doing a vinyasa, you can stay in downward facing dog. All right. Other side. Lift that left leg up. Bring your left foot forward in between your hands. Pivot your back foot. Front heel bisects your back arch. Warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Hi, I'm in front. I'm facing front now. 90-degree angle with your front leg. Lift your chest. Make sure the upper body is right over your pelvis. Palms up, shoulder blades back and down. Keep that lift, stretch the arms, right? So check out your front foot and make sure you can see your first two toes, and the inside of that back thigh presses back. Palms down towards the floor, come a little deeper into your Front leg, sit down into warrior two. Now press into that front foot. Straighten that knee like someone is handing you something in the front of the room. Lengthen, lengthen, and bring your hand to your ankle, the floor, or a block. Stretch that top arm, chest forward. Root down into the outer edge of that back foot. Inner back thigh presses back. Outer front thigh forward. Lift the chest, stretch the arm. I am very aware how long we're here because I'm doing it with you. All right, now root down into the outer edge of that back foot. Let's come up. Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. Check out that front foot. Make sure you can see your first two toes. Stretch the arms. Both hands down. Back to plank. Now your choice, you can go back to down dog and hang out there, or chaturanga to cobra. Shoulder blades down, heart forward. Curl your toes under. Back to downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale and exhale. And walk your feet up in between your hands and come all the way up. I might get cut off here when I stand up. That's okay. Palms together and down. I'm going to come back down to a forward fold. So have your feet about a little closer than hips width apart. Tailbone in, lift the chest. Arms up. Actually, not forward fold. We are going to do chair pose. Utkatasana. Press your hips back, sit back in your chair. Tailbone scoops in, lengthen your sides, both hands down, plank pose. Now you can go back to down dog, stay there, or chaturanga to cobra to down dog. Lengthen your sides. Walk your hands back to your feet. I'm going to adjust my shirt. Lift your hips up. Lift your tailbone up. Feet are about hips width apart, and lengthen your sides. Let your head rest. Let the back of your head lengthen here. Press your thigh bones back, inner thighs roll back. Bend your knees. Knees to the outer edge of the mat. Big toes together. Let's go back to child's pose. If you have more time, you may remain in child's pose for the next few minutes, as long as you'd like. Otherwise, come to a seated position. Bring your hands to heart center. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Thank you for allowing me to be your teacher today. The light in me sees the light in you. Namaste. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my website at www.juneveyoga.com.